audible now, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry, my
Yes,
system
yes.
got uh, a blue screen again. So I'm back. Let me share my screen. Please confirm if the screen is shared.
Yes, we can
Yes.
see your screen.
Yes. Okay. So yesterday in the first demo session, that before yesterday, we discussed about the general introductions, right? And then yesterday we had a discussion on data and technologies. So today, as it is day 3, let's discuss about the overview of Power BI. Sorry. Yeah. In general, whenever you discuss about Power BI, always first important thing you should understand is Power BI altogether has 5 modules. Okay, let me write overview of Power BI. Now here, Power BI, the way we work is firstly divided into 2 parts. First one is Power BI desktop. Okay, this Power BI desktop, if you want to work on this Power BI desktop, license is not required. This is offline completely. Okay, Power BI desktop is offline and no license required. That means not in general for working purpose. I'm talking about for now learning purpose. You don't need a license for now. That means you can learn along with me. Okay. So in this, the first module you will have is Power Query Editor. So in Power Query Editor, we usually do ETL. That is extract, transform, and load. So we usually go with extract, transform, and load. To do this extract, transform, and load ETL, and to transform the data, we perform transformations. And the language we use in this is M language. The language which we use in this is M language. Okay. In this M language, do we have to learn? M stands for mashup. Do we have to learn this language? No, not required. This language is auto-generated. You will not learn this. This language is auto-generated. Automatically, when you click on an option and perform the transformation, the language you can see it automatically. Okay. And the second module we have is data modeling. So first one is getting a data to a proper structure. So all the time the raw data might not be very clear. If it is not very clear, then we will connect with this Power Query Editor in Power BI and clean the data. Okay, we will connect with Power Query Editor and clean the data. So once the data is clean, then we perform modeling. In modeling, what do we do? Relationships between tables. Suppose you want to perform two different, like if you want to perform a visual with two different tables. Okay, without a relationship, you cannot perform anything with two tables in one visual. It will not allow. Until and unless you have a relationship, it will not allow. Okay, so that's the reason you go with establishing a relationships to say that these two tables are related to each other. So to say that you use data modeling. Okay, and next, once that is completed, once you say these are related, actually along with data modeling, we go with Power Pivot as well. And this data modeling, usually it is known as model view in Power BI. And the next module you have is Power Pivot. Power Pivot is a general terminology. In Power BI, the view name is Table View. In Table View, we perform DAX. So, why DAX? We can perform transformations, or you can do calculations, or you can insert new column, you insert new measures. Measures are like calculations only, okay? And you can also do new table. Okay, you can perform transformations, calculations, new column, new measures, and new table. And the next option you have is, after doing Power Query Editor, data modeling, and Power Pivot, next you go with Power View. Power View, we do visualizations. We do visuals, or I can write it as reports. And here, when you do this new table, new column in this, you use a language called DAX. That is data analysis expressions. Okay, so these four modules are particularly done in the Power BI desktop, and always understand 90% of the work of a Power BI developer is in Power BI desktop. 90% of the work of a Power BI developer is in Power BI desktop. Okay, so when you have 90% of the work in Power BI desktop, the next options we have is the remaining 10% that we do it in Power BI service. Okay, in Power BI service, it's an online service and license is compulsory. Here rest of the work is done. The 10%. What is that 10% work is? This includes sharing the reports with clients or end users. Next, other than this, you can also do schedule refresh, and you do row level security, etc. So this kind of things are done in Power BI service. But development of complete report and visuals is done in Power BI desktop. Any questions until here?
No
No.
questions.
No.
Okay, now let me open Power BI. Yes, here we go. And here is the Power BI desktop. So in this Power BI desktop, see, I can go through a blank report or I can go through these things. First, let me go through a blank report. Now, this is Power BI desktop. The first view which you see when you open a Power BI desktop is Power View. In this, you can draw some visuals. Before doing the visuals, first you need the data, right? How do we get the data into Power BI desktop? So to get the data into Power BI desktop, we usually go with get data. If you want the data in Power BI desktop, we have to go with get data. Okay. Now in this get data, you can select whatever data source your data is. So you can connect to multiple data sources in Power BI. You see here, These are the multiple file formats which Power BI will support. And you have database. So these are the multiple databases which will be supported. And then you have Microsoft Fabric. See, multiple database, Microsoft Fabric in the sense, the Microsoft related storage stuffs. And you have Power Platform, these are related to Power BI. Next we have Azure. In Azure, whatever places are there to store the data and we can connect with. And other online services also are there like SharePoint, Dynamic 365 Business, Dynamics Nav, Azure DevOps, Salesforce Objects, Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics. So all these places, from all these places also you can connect to the data. Now, other than this, we still have many more data sources. So if your data is stored anywhere in these places, you can connect to it. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Now going back to the next option. So the next option is, let me for now go with all. I'll connect with Excel workbook. Click on connect and I'm selecting one Excel workbook. Yes, you can select any sheet for which you have the data. Then if I click on load, it will load the data into the Power BI desktop. So if you see here, we have global orders and it has lot of columns here. Now in this, so this is the first module, Power View. As soon as you open Power BI desktop, the first module you see is always the Power View. That is visualizations part. And on the left you have navigation. See, you have report view, table view where we perform DAX, modeling view where you do data modeling. At the same time, we got a new one, that is DAX. This is recently added. Here you can do the modeling. Am I clear? Now, let's see what do we usually do in Power View. Here we perform some visuals. For example, how easy is it to draw a visual in Power BI is? See, I'll just pull a visual like this. Now I'm taking a box. In this box, I'm selecting market, sales. That's all. It will load the data. Now I can also customize it the way I want it. I can put a border. If I want a background, yes, I can insert a background. Now you can see the background better. See, that is the background, but I'll go with a light color background for now. So this is the background and visual border. I want to increase the width of a visual border. Now the visual is having some border. Now if you want to draw any other visual, yes, you can take another visual. I usually go with copying it and changing it. See, it is already there. Click on pie chart. This becomes a pie. From pie to donut. Now I can remove market and put region. It becomes region wise. Now if you want another visual, yes, you can also create a new visual. But if you want to copy the editings you have done, then you can also copy it like this. Here you can change this plot to some other visual like this. And if you want to show not market but subcategory or something, Yes, you can select the subcategory. Here I go. This is the visual. Now, if you want to do filtering here on the screen, yes, take a slicer. Suppose you want to do filtering on market, yes, take a market. Now change the editing so that you will have it seen better. Now this is the slicer you have. Now if I select Canada, it will show all the values for Canada. If I select Africa, it will show for Africa. If you click APAC, it is showing for in APAC 4 regions, APAC market, and in APAC how does the subcategory is performing. So drawing a visuals is easy in Power View.
Yes.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
simple and easy, right?
Yes.
But to do this simple and easy one, okay, to do this simple and easy one in Power BI, in Power View, you need the data to be very clean, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to do this part, when you want this, what happens here is you need a proper data. That data to get it proper, you need Power Query Editor. And if you want a new column, see here, if you see the market, you have few lowercase and few uppercase, right? See, APAC is in uppercase, Africa is in normal, Canada also has some normal, EMEA has all uppercase, Africa and Canada are having lowercase ones, right? So we don't want this data this inconsistent. Then I can go here in this global orders, I can create a new column. In this new column, I can change it. I'll create a new column, market new is equals to, in this new market, I want to change all of them to uppercase. So I'm selecting upper of market. Now click on enter. So the new column will have all the uppercase. See, you have all the uppercase now. Either maintain all the lowercase or all uppercase. Okay, that's what you have to do. Now go here, click on enter. You got all the uppercase. Now I'll go back here. Instead of taking this market, I'll take market new. So I'll have all the uppercase. Or if you want all the lowercase, you can apply lower function.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay? Yes.
Where we can go for this setting, like uppercase, lowercase, whatever you did
It's a
just
function,
now.
DAX function. I wrote a formula.
Okay.
It is in the second table view. I wrote a formula.
No, no, but for this screen, how you get it? When you
That's what
click
I
on
told you. See on the left. I went
column.
to table view. Here,
Okay.
on the left. See, first one is power view.
Power
Second
view.
one is
Okay.
table view.
Okay. Got it. Oh,
Okay. Now in the third module, this is usually used for establishing relationship if you have more than one table. But here we have only one table. So during the course, we will go deep into this, how to establish a relationship and things. Now, other than these three, you also have DAX. Here also you can write DAX functions. So if I click on market new column or any of these columns, if you want to write a bigger DAX, a longer lines of DAX, you can use this. The same thing, instead of using here, I also wrote here. You can use any one place. Either you can write the DAX from there or you can also write DAX from here. Both the places you use, any of the way you do it, it will work. Okay, this is the DAX part. Now coming back to the next module we have. The another module what we have is, the next module what we have is Power Query Editor. Until now we have seen Power View, we have seen Table View and we have seen modeling. But the fourth module of Power BI Desktop, what we missed? Obviously Power Query Editor, right?
Yes.
Correct? So
Yeah, yeah.
now this Power Query Editor, to open a Power Query Editor, you have to go with transform data. You have to go with transform data. Okay, so where is the transform data option? If you see on the top, okay, if you see on the top in the home tab, you have transform data. If I click on transform data, it will open a window, a separate window like this. See here, this is Power Query Editor. On the top, the name is there. It is Power Query Editor. In this Power Query Editor, did I do any work in this Power Query Editor until now?
No.
Did I do any work in Power Query Editor
No,
now?
ma'am. No.
No, right? But you see, there is some language here. Okay, this is auto-generated. And if I click on source, so it is telling that this is the source for the file which you have imported. Navigation is, it has gone through the item called global orders in a sheet. And then you have the next one called promoted headers. It has taken the headers to the first header section. And it has changed the data type accordingly by identifying the data types of each column. Okay, and then now if you want to do, so suppose you want to create a new column where you want to separate years from here. Click on this, then go to add column. In a new column, if you want it, click on date. I want to extract year outside. See, years are coming out. So this way you can create new columns and you can transform the data. And here I don't want to work on all the data. I want to work on only first 10 rows, or I don't want all the columns. For now, I want to work only on few columns. I want to work only on this 5 columns. And click here. You can say remove other columns. So it will put only 5 columns. Now previously in Power BI desktop, we had all the columns here on the right, you see. Correct. Now because I want only 5 columns, I selected 5 columns here. Now if I do close and apply, or if I do apply, it will apply all these changes to here and you will not see all other columns anymore. Only these 5 columns will be there. See, you'll have only 5 columns. Now once you applied this step, you want to revert back, you can click on into. Then see, you got all the columns back. Now again click on apply. You will get the columns back. Okay, this is Power Query Editor and the language which is used is M language and it is auto generated. Okay,
Yeah, okay, got
so
it.
fine. Yes, now these 5 modules all together will form the Power BI. And now what I'll do is, so what is the difference between Power BI and other reporting tools? So as you saw different modules on Power BI, and in general, do you have only one Android phone or do we have a lot of Android phones in the market?
Lots of.
Lots
Sort
of.
of.
Lots of Android phones. When someone tells you you are using an iPhone, why are you sorry? When you're someone tells I'm using OnePlus, why OnePlus? Why not MI? Even though that line problem has come, still people prefer to use OnePlus. Why? Maybe because of the
May
performance or
yes.
features.
Right.
Features.
Similarly, even though we have multiple reporting tools, few tools has few features in it. So we have Power BI by Microsoft, we have Tableau by Salesforce, and we have Looker. Have you heard about it? Looker by Google, and you have. Did you remember? Did you ever heard this quick view? And you have Nime also. These are the multiple reporting tools available in the market. Okay, but mostly people go with Power BI and Tableau. And with my understanding on what is going on in present market, I see a lot of transition projects. That means the projects are transitioning from Tableau to Power BI. I see a lot of transition in the projects from Tableau to Power BI. A lot of projects are moving from Tableau to Power BI. You get that? So that's the reason I prefer to go with Power BI. I did work with Tableau and Power BI as well, but after a lot of queries from multiple people to see their work and things, I finally realized that there are lots and lots and lots and lots of projects which are transitioning from here to there. The first main reason for transitioning is the license, the budget. So when it comes to a budget perspective, I'll compare this Tableau and Power BI now. When I talk about license price, people chose Power BI. Why? Because the license of Tableau, license for the Tableau what we have is $70 per single user. Okay, so I'll show it to you here. Uh, I'll give Tableau licenses. Now you see we have Tableau licenses price. This will take me to something else. See here. The pricing of Tableau Expert ranges from 393 to 420. This is the highest one. And the simple one. For users who need individual creator licenses, the prices ranges from rupees 70 to $98. That is for individual users. Now, if I go with the Power BI license, the pricing, individual license, see, user per month, how much is this?
$10.
Tell me which is better.
Power BI.
Power BI.
That is one major reason why people are shifting to Power BI. Where
Cost.
is $70 and where is $10?
Right.
Vast difference, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Then coming to the visuals. When I talk about the visuals, Tableau has a show me option which has a few visuals in it. But in Power BI, if you go through Power BI, you might think that these are the only visuals here available. But no, not only these. If I click on this and go with get more visuals, you have thousands of visuals which you can work on. Do you see that?
Yes.
So Power BI has a wide options of visuals. At the same time, you can also customize the visuals using a coding language, either R or Python. If you don't feel like using these visuals which are present here, you can also write a code You can also write a code. For example, if I want a R code, I will enable the R script. Now here I have to I have to select market and sales. Suppose I want to draw a visual based on market and sales. Okay, in this market and sales, when you're performing this, whichever code you want to work on. Suppose you want to draw a bar graph. Sorry, if you want to go with a bar graph, and in a bar graph, to draw a bar graph, you need to write the R or Python. Presently, I chose R programming, right? So I'll write the R code. In this R code, what happens? First, I have to import the library. So in library, it's not compulsory to learn the programming, guys. But if you, obviously, the more technologies you know, the better opportunities you see. So it's up to you, your choice. Okay, now I have data set. So in this data set, I want to use uh, ACES in the sense what is my x-axis and what is my y-axis. I have to say it. My x-axis is market. Obviously, always text data will be in x-axis. Now my sales is my y-axis. Using this data, I want to draw a geometric. So this is how the coding of R is. I want to draw a geometric bar graph. I want to use a stat is equals to identity. It's called identity stats. Okay, now I'll run the code. Let's see if it gives an error. It's been a while that I have done a code. Yes, there is some error. Maybe I didn't import the R script. Yes, so now I'll go to home, get data, more options, others, R script, connect. Now I'll not write the code here. I'll say sample code, click on OK. It is establishing connection from R to my Power BI so that my R code will work. Okay. Now I'll do a right click, load. Close this. It is loaded. You want to apply the changes? Yes. Now I'll try to run this code. Script is not imported properly. Why not found? Okay. Here it is. Y is equals to, that means y-axis is equals to, now if I run it, yes, even though you use instead of capital M, small m also matters in programming. Programming is that sensitive, okay. See, it is telling where the error is. Geom bar is the error. So indentation problem. In the geom bar code, whatever you write, you have to write it as, if it's not accepting like this, it should have an indentation. Okay, indentation in the sense it should maintain a space after the first line of code. So that should be a problem here. Let me quickly change the indentation with giving one space here. Let me check now. And the problem is STAT stat. It's not ST, the spelling was wrong. Stat is identity. Yes, here is the bar. Very minor issue in the language which you write also matters here. Okay? So this way you can also customize your visuals, create your own visuals using a programming language. If you know R, you can use R. If you know Python, you can use Python. You can use any of the language. Am I clear?
Yes.
It's understood,
I have
right?
one question.
Yes.
Here we have an option to select R script. So where do we have an option to select the Python?
Here.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yes. So this is how you can customize the visual. So visuals perspective, you have my vote for Power View. Then if I tell with data source, so how many data sources you can connect? Both are equally competing. That means multiple data sources you can connect with when you're on Tableau or you're on Power BI as well. Both of them will connect multiple data sources. Okay. Now coming back to the next one. In the next option we have is uh, what options more you will see more in a reporting tool. Data sources is important, visualization is important, license is important, modeling. Modeling also both are equally competing, and UI, the user interface. Tableau is complex because it has hidden options in it, but in Power BI it's like an Excel, it's like an open interface, I'll tell you. Open view. So you have home tab ribbon, from the ribbon you can select. So these are the few options why there is a difference between two reporting tools. You understand now? So this way you have differences between reporting tools. Why do we have to go only with Power BI? No, don't go with Power BI. You can choose any of them. But when you're choosing it, it depends on, whenever you're choosing it, it depends on what you have, what you can afford, what data you are working with, and what visuals you want. You have to make sure of all of this, and also compatibility of your data where it is stored. Suppose your data is stored in Azure, you better prefer Power BI because Azure is by Microsoft and this is also by Microsoft. Okay, that way you create the differences. Now understood the differences between reporting tools and an overview of Power BI? Is this understood, guys?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So now we have 15 minutes. You can feel free to shoot your questions.
Yeah, one question I have here is like maybe I got a little confused. And the Power Query editor, we transform and load the transformation part also exists. In Power Pivot
Yes.
also we mentioned that transformation. So what kind of difference that we use among
This
these two?
difference cannot be told in 1 minute or something. It actually happens because of the Vertipack engine. So if you want to reduce the size of data because it cannot handle much, you have to do the transformations in Power Query Editor. From Power Query Editor, when the data is coming to Power BI desktop, you have a transformation, you have a Vertipack engine working. Okay.
Okay.
So that can be discussed only after understanding of basics of Power BI, and we go with the model understandings.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh, Hello.
Yes.
Hi, ma'am. This is Ravi. So, how
Yes.
frequently we use our language and Python language in the Power BI? Like, how efficiently it will be in using in
It
the real time that.
absolutely depends on the project you are in
Mhm.
and the visuals type
Is
of visuals you want.
Okay. Is necessary to adopt them in both technologies or like any one of them like in the real time like I mean
That's
if
what
you have I
I
mean
told
4 years
you.
of experience.
See, 1 second. That's what I told you. You want to learn the technologies or you don't want is absolutely your choice.
Mhm.
Okay, if you learn it, obviously it's an advantage where you can do customization of visuals. If you don't want to do it, your choice. But if you go to, unfortunately, you went and landed up in a project where they want a customized visual. Do you learn it then and there? It might be a problem to learn a programming language just for one visual, right?
Mhm.
That's the reason better to have little knowledge. But
Okay.
it's not, it's almost like a 90%, I can hear a echo from you. Can you be on mute? 90% of the Power BI developer doesn't require any this customization visual. You can make use of the existing ones only. That 10% in a critical case where a client is very particular about the visuals, we go with this. Got it?
Okay.
Yes.
So there is no any kind of configurations also in Power BI, right? So
What do you mean by configurations?
only for transformations and creating visuals only, right?
See, it's a bigger tool. It includes all of them. You also have to do configurations of schedule refresh. You have to configure gateways. That we do it in Power BI service. Every application will include configurations, development, and maintenance. That's compulsory for any tool you go. Okay?
If you want to learn like any one of the technology, what is I mean your preferable like R or like Python?
I know both. I'll not say preference exactly because it depends on the project. Say now if I say Python is more and you end up in a project where they're using R, you will be in trouble. If I say R and you end up in a project where they're using Python, you'll be in trouble. So I cannot suggest, go with your suggestion, but when you're applying for the job, make sure that the programming language, whichever you know, is only used there. Just make sure of it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, sorry for interrupting again. Like I mean, so I just wanted to know, like I mean, so what is I mean major difference like data engineer and data analyst that I mean, so in data engineer, like what I mean
Is
tools will
this
be
your first
involved and
session?
like
I mean, is this your
sorry, ma'am.
first session you're attending or did you attend yesterday?
This is first meeting.
So can you go through the recordings of previous classes? Because this discussion is already completed yesterday. Yesterday completely I discussed about the technologies. Okay?
Yep. Okay, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, then I think we are good. I don't hear any more questions. So this is about the demo sessions, guys. And after the demo sessions, now we'll be starting the classes from tomorrow. So first I'll start with SQL, then go with Power BI. Okay. Thank you
Okay.
so much for joining. See you all back tomorrow, same time to continue learning. Thank you
Yeah.
guys. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Uh,
Bye. Thank you.